Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of The Tragics. Great to have your company for another week. As we do every week, we say hello and good afternoon to Nick Armstead.
Andrew Leonard, how are we, sir?
Well, thank you. I think I said tonight last week.
You did.
We record at various different times of the day, so depending on what time it is and what time you're watching, I guess good morning, good afternoon and good night.
Yes, correct. So what are we? Midday on a Wednesday today. A bit later in the week.
A bit later in the week. A few things going on. I was up in Brisbane earlier in the week. Tell you what a climate to live in.
How was it?
Yeah, good, working hard.
You're still working on that tan. It looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
You're glowing.
What was your highlight from the weekend?
I'm going to go to an interview that was done from Coburg Footy Club. Liam Whelan, who used to play for Aquinas, and obviously now he's on the list at Old Trinity. And you know how I love promoting the boys that went to Ireland back in 2017. Yep. What a trip it was. He got on Coburg Footy Club TV and just gave it a little bit of a plug. Take a look at this.
Selected to play a bit of international rules over in Ireland. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Great experience. Got to travel, which was awesome. Lent's nice, mate. So got to travel overseas. Great experience. Family from there, so just an unreal, life-changing experience that money can't buy. So the things you give up to play VAFA footy and not get paid, you get experiences like that.
Now we love to see that, Lenny. We love the Ireland tour getting a spruik whenever it possibly can, and hopefully we'll see it again next year.
Yeah, we do. I've got a couple of highlights. They both involve goals. One of them involves our guest who's coming up on the show later on. So Justin Hunter from Elsternwick, 700th goal on the weekend. Congratulations.
Unbelievable.
We're going to chat to him later on, so stick around, all you Wickers fans out there. But let's go to EE Gun. Richard Scott from Old Ivanhoe. Have a look at this goal. Absolute beauty. So that's the way you do it.
That's a bit like Hamish Dix for Old Brighton earlier in the year, actually. So they'll go right down to the wire for goal of the year, I would have thought.
Wait till see if they stick some BT commentary behind it or something like that. Get the Old Brighton social media team onto the case. Let's have a look at William Buck Premier. A lot closer results over the course of the weekend. Headlined, I guess, by St Bernard's and Old Brighton. A 2-point result for the Burnies. Still a sneaky chance? Or
They are absolutely a sneaky chance now. I didn't think they were prior to the game, because you would have thought going out to Brighton Beach Oval, the Tunners would get it done, particularly because it was not all on the line, but it was important for the Tunners. They would have stayed in 5th spot, but St Bernard's just got out to a lead at half-time. Unfortunately, Ben Jacoby, right on the siren from 50 metres out, he had a shot and unfortunately just scraped the inside of the post. But Harry Hill was massive for Brighton with 4 goals. And the big fella Jack McNamara kicked 6 for St Bernard's.
I think we said a couple of weeks ago collegians were coming, and obviously they're holding that spot in the 4, but they felt like they were building, and I suppose an 11-point loss to St Kevin's shows that they're right in the mix still.
Yeah, absolutely are. I think they're the 4th best team at the moment. I think we could all agree on that. They were leading at half-time by 16 points before they kicked 7 goals to 3, Scob, in that second half. But unfortunately, Will Johnson, so he's come back from injury, which is fantastic. He's so important to them up forward. Him and Anthony Brunn, 2 twin pillars.
Is this your kicking boots article that you're going to reference here?
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Yeah.
He kicked 0 goals 6 in the first 40 minutes of the game, which could have made a difference.
It could have indeed, and not ideal when you're missing chances. You're saying he's got a couple of shots missing there.
What is a bad kicking equals bad?
Yeah, that's the one.
I hate it.
All the little cliches. You got
Just
any others?
Shocking.
Football's 90% above the shoulders.
Oh, please. Oh,
any others you can throw at me?
The one I
don't hand pass to people that are flat-footed.
I really dislike is the Lee Matthews goals to minutes left rule.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times that would come to fruition is so minimal, but yet everyone brings it up.
What about the boundary line as your friend?
Boundary line's not your friend, not anymore, because of this stuff, because of Deliver It.
OM's defeated De La Salle. They're wedged deep in that relegation battle now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough now for De La Salle to get themselves out. Unfortunately, the amount of injuries that they have at the moment is just phenomenal. But they still on the weekend, despite that, they played so well. They were up by 10 points at 3/4 time. It was OM's, it was Tom Paul, it was Gus Borthwick, all their great players. Jackson Payne, who really stood up in that 4th quarter. And I suppose it keeps finals open for old Melburnians, albeit they probably didn't look like a finals team on the weekend.
Absolutely. This is the interesting result from the round. Uni Blues and Old Zavs.
Yeah, Old Zavs, since the bye, have averaged 51.5 points a game after averaging 107 prior. Whereas the Blues,
double bye, not just
the double bye.
the double
Yeah,
bye.
sorry, the double
Maybe
bye.
too many of them had a bigger holiday than expected.
Well, that seems to be a bit of an issue at a few clubs, is that people are taking now 3 and 4 weeks instead of just the 2 that we brought them together. We thought that might solve the problem. But Uni Blues are back to the top of the table now, and they're absolutely flying.
Are they going to win it?
No, I don't think you can say that.
Yep.
Again, they've got to win a final, and I think
Yep.
that's the most important thing for them. After going out in 3 straight finals, they need to win a final.
One of the
first
most
and foremost.
consistently successful clubs in terms of being
Yeah.
in the top flight, but only 3 senior flags to show for it in Premier section.
Yeah, so it's been a disappointing in that respect.
Yep.
However, it's right in their hitting zone this year. But if we go back to Scob, I think they're probably the team that are going to give them the most trouble.
Old Kerry a lot better.
Yep.
Old Trinity still get the points though, which just maybe puts an early nail in the coffin of De La Salle.
Yeah, it does, and that was really important for Old Trinity. I think we all predicted that they would win. They were smacking them at 3/4 time, but Carey, to their credit, ran out with 5 goals to 1 in the 4th.
In Premier B, Bo Morris defeated Caulfield Grammarians. Now, a few weeks ago, I was saying Caulfield Grammarians were going to go undefeated. They've
did.
dropped 2 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you haven't nailed that one. Let's be honest. They're missing a few players from that double bye. So Julian DeBoz, Will Edwards, but I'm not making any excuses because the young Sharks were absolutely phenomenal on the weekend, and they needed to win. But Brendan Goddard had his best game, just playing out of the goal square. He kicked 4 goals for Caulfield.
St Bede's Mentone, they did get that win, but only by a point against Old Haileybury, so a great win for them. The other side of it is Old Scotch lost to Uni Black, so maybe the premiership race is wide open in Premier B.
Yeah, potentially it is. We thought it was down to 2. We thought it was Caulfield and Scotch. It's surprising that they both lost on the same weekend. I think the ground at Uni Oval, it was a bog heap in the middle, so I think it was conducive to Uni Black's style of football and not so much Scotch. I wouldn't read too much into that.
We've seen, obviously, Blacks are regenerating again in Premier B. Are they ready to come up? And we've seen Old Kerry come up and they probably weren't ready to come up. Would Blacks want to come up this year, do you think?
I think Blacks would be in a better position this year than Carey were last year, per se, but I still don't think they'd push for finals. I think Scotch are definitely in a position where they can go back up. And again, Caulfield's a great unknown because they haven't been up to Premier for years.
We've shown a bit of action from the EE gun already. Old Ivanhoe beat Ormond to move up to 3rd spot in Premier C, and Marsland defeated Hampton. Was there another highlight from Premier C that caught your eye there, Nick, at all?
Oh, there were highlights everywhere in Premier C. I'm just trying to look
There's a big run out. I'm conscious of time because we've got to get to Justin.
Well, Mazenod's probably the one for
Yep.
mine. They won one of their first 6 games of the year. They are now 7-6. They've won 6 out of the last 7. They're in 4th spot. They've just displaced Old Mantonians. I know Justin's coming up, but Mazenod are flying.
They certainly are. We'll take a break. We're going to get straight into our special guest. Justin Hunter from Elsternwick is going to join us right after this.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Well, it's not every day you have someone that's kicked 700 goals sitting at the desk, but we do as we welcome Justin Hunter from Elsternwick Footy Club. Congratulations, first of all, and
Thank
welcome
you.
to the Tragics.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well done, mate.
I watched the show quite a bit, so I'm pretty excited to see how it's all put together and just be here.
Well, technically, this has been probably, 2 years in the making?
2 years in the making. I ran into you at an MCC function and pinned you up against the wall and said, I want to come on the show, and 2 years later, here we are.
Well, we're waiting for you to kick 700. It's taken you 2 years to get there.
650 was good, but we wanted 700.
But no, it's great to be here.
Tell us about the 700th goal. We're seeing some footage of it now on the screen.
Yeah, look, I really... So I
Were you aware of it? It was coming?
Yeah, I've pretty much been aware of every goal I've kicked number-wise throughout my career. I think that's all forwards do. But so I took a mark at the top of the goal square. I knew there was no one behind me. And I really should have just gone back, soaked it up. Everyone give them time to get the cameras out. But then, at the same time, I'm just as likely to miss it from the top of the goal square. So I played on and just kicked it through. It was good fun.
People come out to mock you, or was it not the crowd weren't as aware as you were?
No, not as aware as I am, definitely not. But we're only 5 goals up at the time, and you still got to win the game. It was a big game. So
There was another piece of footage from behind the goal. So you had the one from the side, which was released first, and then behind the goals, which with some incredible commentary to it.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, so that was from Antonio, a guy I went to school with. He's been to the last couple of games. I think he must be videoing the whole game on his phone. But yeah, what did he mention? 3 career handballs. I don't think that's not even close to right. I had a handball in round 5. I had about 2 last year, so that's 3. So surely would have been at least another one throughout the career.
Why don't you like handballing?
Well, you can't kick goals with a handball. It's pretty simple.
That's great stuff. You've kicked 11 in a game before. That's your best?
No, I kicked 14 3 times.
14 3 times. Okay. Yep.
So yeah.
Who were the unlucky opponents on those occasions?
Richmond Central twice,
Yep.
and
So you like them?
yeah, do like them, and Wimbledon Hawks over in London, which was a good time.
So how long did you spend in the UK?
2 years.
Yeah.
We went over there with a couple of guys from school.
So 700. That's 700 for Elsternwick, not including your goals for Wimbledon.
No, Putney. We're not including Putney
Putney,
Magpies.
okay,
No,
Putney
it's
Magpies,
just
yeah.
700 at Elsternwick. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it is 800 by now.
Might be 800. We could have had you on a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
So you enjoyed your time overseas?
Yeah, great fun. Playing football over there is huge. You're meeting like-minded people, and so the football, whilst it's not completely serious, you're not training the house down. You're meeting like-minded people who really enjoy playing their football. So there's a huge social aspect to it.
So not just that, you're over in the Asian champs as well with the
That's right.
Philippines Eagles.
The
How was
Filipino
that?
Eagles, that was great fun. I was actually working in the Philippines for a couple of months, and it was the last round of the AFL football season, and you know how they have, like, there was 4 games of AFL back-to-back, and so I don't usually get a chance to watch 4 games of football back-to-back, so I went to the pub. They all started at 10 in the morning, had a couple of beers, watched a couple of games of footy, and the Filipino Eagles just happened to walk into the bar after they'd completed a game. I was there for a couple of months. They said, come down to training. And so I did, and one thing led to another, and went to the Asian Championships.
Did you have boots over there, or did you have to get them shipped over, or how did that work?
I trained in runners at the time,
Yeah.
but then when they were actually in Thailand. I was in Hong Kong at the time. It's complicated, but I'd been home before to bring my boots back over.
Hong Kong, you mentioned there. You won a contest there. Do you want to tell us about that one?
I think you might be referring to the Hong Kong Drinking Championship. Yeah. Once again, I think I was just in the right place at the right time, just having a couple of quiet beers, and there was a prize to be won. I can't recall the prize, maybe because of the beers, but
yep.
Yeah, thanks.
So you won that? That's good.
I did win that. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
You seem to have a real proclivity for these sorts of contests. We've seen a photo where you were the champion for a while of the chicken wing eating contest at Skippy's Bar and Grill, where you once ate 70 chicken wings in one sitting.
Enjoys a win.
It was 72.
72.
Yeah. What a time. I believe I'm still the champion. I'm not up on the board anymore because when people go to the Philippines, I do send them to Skippy's Bar for the great ambience, but also to see if my name's still on the bar. And so the photo you're referring to, that was someone going over there, and you see he scratched my name out. I didn't drop down to second, so it's clearly fake. So yeah, 72 wings. So the funny thing about that was, it wasn't the 60 to 70 that were really tough. It was the middle section. So if you're ever going to eat a lot of chicken wings, just put your head down between that 30 to 40 mark, but you'll get there.
Grind it out.
Grind it out. It's a lot of chickens.
Nick wants to ask you about fire in a second, but let's just straighten up for a moment. We'll go with fire, and then we'll straighten and come back to Elsternwick.
Well, just lastly on your time over in Thailand, Bangkok, Asia, where you clearly like having a good time on the bintangs. So you've jumped through a ring of fire here. What can you tell us?
Yeah, once again, was at the bar having a couple of quiet beers. Probably in the right place at the right time. I saw a lot of people doing it, and yeah, I just couldn't help myself, so I thought I'd jump through the fire. Good times.
All safely got through?
Yeah, safely.
Smooth.
Yeah, absolutely.
But straighten up. Elsternwick, obviously, playing there. Been there for a number of years now. Ground redevelopment. So tell us the difference. I mean, Elsternwick are going to lose their competitive advantage surely now of playing on that little Elsternwick Oval 2 out the back.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, but we've also got lights, so you'll be able to see the ball at training. So there's that. It's amazing. I'm not sure it was actually classified as a football ground previously. It was more just a park or a track, and it's very sandy. So whilst we might lose our competitive advantage on Saturdays, we're going to be training when it's dark, and we're going to be training on lush surfaces, so it's going to be good. So club's obviously in good shape, despite where it is in terms of the premise or the sections and the ladders at the moment. There's good numbers, all that sort of thing. Absolutely, we've had a tough couple of years. Our coach Lee Horsburgh has been there for a number of years now, and I think that continuity of having the one coach has really helped with our player retention.
Yep.
I think we've won 5.
19s? Are they far off?
We're looking at bringing a women's team in next
Yep.
year. So there's an information night on the 12th of August here at Sports Cover Arena. So I think that's the next step. Well, logically, it's going to happen. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to get a women's team up. So that's the next step for Elsternwick.
Well, and so premiership this year, chance? Sneaky?
Just got to take it one week at a time.
Oh, please, come on.
You love the cliches, don't you?
You've seen enough of the Tragics to know we don't accept cliches. Outlandish statements.
Well,
You've got St Francis Xavier in round 18.
Correct.
All right, so they're probably your biggest threat, but you've also got Albert Park soon.
Correct. So St Francis and Albert Park are 1 and 2. We're even on points with Albert Park. So we play them in 2 weeks, and so that'll be a really good test. And then St Francis, as you mentioned, in the last round. So that's going to be an even bigger test because they look like the team to beat at the moment. So you've got Harrison Coe, kicked 88 goals at the moment.
Flying.
absolutely fine. Not that it's all about snags.
Well, he hasn't kicked 700.
Yeah, well, not yet. So, absolutely.
How many more do you think you've got in you?
Well, every year you say one more year.
Got family and all that sort of thing? Or
Recently got married at
Yep,
the start of the year.
congratulations.
Thank you very much. So I think that it might be time to spend more time at home and less time at training. I've never been a huge trainer, but that's my excuse not to train maybe every session these days.
I was told that you actually went down to Tuesday training because you knew you were coming on the Tragics this week.
Who told you that? The reason I went to training is I had to leave my car at the pub. So I was in Elsternwick, and so it was just a short trip around the corner. But I did have the chest puffed out. I did a couple of extra laps, which I may not normally have done.
And he's one of the very few that have joined an elite club of sharpest looking units on
Absolutely.
this as well, with the suit to the desk.
I had to follow your lead, obviously.
I appreciate it.
I'm the sloppy dresser on the Tragics desk. Justin, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having
Good
me.
luck getting towards 800, maybe sneaking in a flag by the end of the year.
Fingers crossed.
Good on you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Justin Hunter there from Elsternwick Footy Club. We're going to come back. Alicia Min's going to join us to talk some women's footy. Welcome back to the Tragics. Time to talk some women's footy. Alicia Min's at the desk, as she always is every week. Hello, Alicia.
Lenny, how are you?
Well, thank you.
Very well. Very well.
Footy end of the road for a lot of girls this year.
Round 14, done and dusted. Women's season over.
Yeah, amazing.
It was an
Well,
finals.
finals to come, but the home and away
a lot of
rounds are
girls
done.
finish up.
Yes, and didn't we see it on social media on the weekend? I think we've spoken about it before, just the full spectrum of emotions of women posting on the weekend. I'm going to kick it off with, I've categorised them in 3 separate categories. And the first one is reflective posts. So you had predominantly from the sides who didn't make finals. They were really heartfelt. A lot of, back bigger and better in 2020. Like, couldn't be prouder. This is my family. Like, we really love that family feel. And some of the clubs that threw that around were De La Salle, Old Melburnian, Swinburne Uni. They got a hugging photo. Fitzroy OCU, all the girls, Aquinas. The list could go on, but the girls were enthused even though they lost. I'm not sure how many men's teams that don't make finals would post photos like that after.
Oh, no, I think most men's teams, there's big celebrations at the end of the year, regardless of when you finish.
Yeah.
Particularly in the amateur level. I think it's
Yeah.
great to see that. Their silly Sundays and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Which brings me on to my next point, actually. A very
Yep.
good segue. Were the party posts. So the girls who weren't so reflective and were just keen to have a good time afterwards. St. Bede's Mentone were leading the charge with their op shop party on Saturday night. Powerhouse Women's had their cardboard box game in the rooms where you get the drink off of the floor, which is always an exciting game. And Albert Park Falcons and St. Bernard's had their silly Sunday antics. Now, unfortunately, we don't have much footage of it, but that's very typical of a silly Sunday. What stays on silly Sunday happens on silly Sunday?
Nah, that's
stays on silly
poor.
Sunday?
That's poor. I'm not for that. We like to see it all. All the dirt.
Now, the third category of emotion that we received on the weekend is that why don't we have both? And
Or how are you
¿Por
probably...
qué no los dos?
Very good.
Right? So,
Saw that on the rundown. I was a bit worried about how that was going to come out.
So we
Nick, sorry, Nick, can you just say what's on line 3 of the rundown there?
Porco los dos.
so why don't we
Gary.
have both? So these were the girls who made it through to finals and yet still found the time to both party and be excited about it. So kicking it off, we had the Haileybury girls excited post-match. They finished 3rd, so 1 spot better than last year. They finished 4th and won the flag last year, so they were up 1, so maybe their odds are better. They were doing shoeies in the room post-match. The Christmas in July parties are...
Would you do a shoey from your footy boot?
Not.
Would you do a shoey from any shoe?
Never.
Footwear?
No, definitely not a footy boot.
Any footwear?
Maybe a thong?
Feet are
Well,
gross.
how's it going to hold the liquid?
No, you just cup it. I don't know this from experience. Though.
It sounds like a little bit like you do.
So, have you thought about it? What about golf shoes after walking 18 holes?
No.
Sweaty.
Footy boots would be up there as the worst. Or the racing shoes. So
The racing
original,
boots. The racing,
Ricardo.
yeah, the Daniel
That's
Ricciardo. That is
disgusting.
horrendous.
Yeah.
You're sitting in a sweaty sweat box for an hour and a half. No thanks.
No, but the Haileybury girls were about it, and 5 of them were doing it
Good on
at
them.
the same time. We talked about Christmas in July parties last week, but they're increasingly popular in the Ammos. And here we see Kath Bitharves from
Batharvis.
Batharvis. Wow, that was really bad. From Old Campbell, she has a turkey on her head. And Lucy Andrews from UHSVU with her friend. We're a very committed pair of reindeer at their Christmas party, so that was always entertaining. So that's the end of my, summary of what the posts were like on the weekend. But just to touch on some other results, every section had movement in the 4, so which meant the last round was pretty important in terms of where you finished, which was great. Div 2 and Div 3, as we touched on, Oakley jumped in from out of the 4, and as did Whitefriars. Now, Whitefriars in Div 2 had 3 draws during the home and away season.
Yep.
And they had a draw in the last round, which is what picked Old Ivanhoe and got them into the 4 as well. So pretty exciting stuff there for Whitefriars.
It is.
Draw, it's really exciting.
A draw is into the 4.
Yeah, to
I
get
know
into
you
the
went
4
on
and
about
keep
last
The
up
week.
99
Last
World Cup
week.
semi-final, Australia and South Africa, is one of the most amazing draws of all time.
And the other
A
draw
tie.
that, more recently that we spoke about
World Cup finals.
last week was one of the more disappointing results we've ever seen.
was
Someone won
amazing.
without making more runs.
It was amazing.
I hope that the umpires know what to do in the case of a draw, though. Do
Yeah.
they know? Have
Oh,
they
it's-
watched Tragics? Do they know what to do?
I don't know. Back to the middle and first score wins.
Yeah.
So that was great there. And just to finish it off, Gemma is from...
Former Tragic.
Yeah, one of our faves.
From Fitzroy. She had a milestone game on the weekend, and we love milestones that are celebrated with oomph. And that's what happened there. They had a Gemolition banner, and 2 of the holders were wearing custom Gemolition Derby tees. So it was just a great way to round off Fitzroy season with her milestone.
Felicitaciones.
Mm.
I think that's congratulations.
Vamos.
Bit of Spanish spicing things up.
Well,
for
because
this
we had the
episode, aren't we?
Porque no
Porque no
estás earlier.
estás.
Yeah,
What
exactly
was
right.
that
And
again,
Gemma
Nick?
also, she spoke Spanish on the Tragics once.
Isn't this the most convenient episode of Tragics it's been?
Very convenient. We'll see you after finals in next week.
Brilliant. We'll see how it goes.
Back to wrap up after this. Welcome back to the Tragics. Just enough time to wrap up. We've gone a bit over time tonight with Justin being hilarious with all of his banter.
Yeah, he was great.
So we'll just touch on a bit of social media. I'm going to go to Lucy Murphy on Instagram. Alexa Matter dropping her dog here now. The facial reaction is pretty funny. I'm just not sure about I don't understand where the hands are in relation to having had the dog in your arms to being out there like that.
She's capitulated, let's be honest. She's heard footsteps and she's absolutely capitulated.
It's a strange one. What have you got for us?
I've gone to Westbourne Grammarians and they've been outstanding across social this year. They've really stepped it up a notch. During the week, they've given us insight into the Warrior Dart Master. We had Songbirds, Coach's Corner, and even some stand-up comedy. Take a look at this.
Oh my God. Look at her butt. She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends. Who understands those rap guys? Only told to her because she looks like a total prostitute. Okay? I mean, her.
Is this just fantasy?
Yeah!
Caught in a landslide, no escape from
Intense job working at Centrelink, because knowing that if you get fired, you still have to go back there tomorrow. I met a young lady. Started spending some time together, and I always meet her at 12:59 because you'll know I love that one-on-one time. One-to-one time.
Great stuff from Westbourne Grammarians. That's what we like to see. We like to see inside the inner sanctum on a
Absolutely.
Thursday night.
More of that,
More of
please.
that.
I'm not sure if Tuck Shop Trials have taken a bit of a backseat in the last few weeks
I think-
after
I think
West Brunswick.
Everyone saw West Brunswick and sort of just went back into their shells and goes, well, there's no way we're going to compete with that.
Yeah, and we've lost a bit of fashions on the footy field. A lot of our key drivers this year have fallen over in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
You're
the
right.
double bye. Maybe we're still on holidays here as well. Should mention Towards Zero as well. It is Towards Zero around this week. It's a tiny little graphic there. Hopefully you can see that there on the jumper there. But important message. Easiest way to get Towards Zero?
Don't drink.
Well, don't drink and drive, obviously. But make the speed limit 20 kilometres an hour. Everywhere.
Oh, I thought this was a drink drive thing.
No, it's not drink driving. It's just like we got zero road toll.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't drink. Don't speed.
Yeah,
Don't be an idiot on the roads. Indicate.
Take it out of everyone's hands.
Indicate. And you know what? Thank people who let you into their lane.
Oh, but that's another topic. We can spend
Thank
a whole
them.
tragic show on all that. You went where I didn't think you were going to go. Right, that's all we've got time for. We've got questions and all that sort of thing to come next week. That's all we've got time for on the Tragics.
Not really much love from his teammates. Maybe that's through lack of handballing over the years. But a pretty good effort. 700 career goals, 9 career handballs, 3 career tackles, club leading goal kicker, and a ton of beers at the club rooms. Well done, Juzzy.